Hello, my friends, and welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I'm your host, Christine, and I am here to show you my 8 favorite ways to use protein powder without making a protein shake. There are some days where I just don't want a protein shake, but I need the extra protein boost. So let's start with number 1. It's protein cookie dough. I am a huge fan of key lime. If you're not, that's perfectly okay, because I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this. I'm going to take 2 scoops of vanilla protein powder. I am using Juice Plus Vanilla Complete. You can use whatever you like. And then I'm going to do lime juice. You can use fresh. Fresh is always better than bottled, but we go with what we have, and this is what I have today. So I'm going to start with about a 1/4 cup. I'm going to add it slowly because we're not trying to make it too moist. We want to make it like cookie dough. And we'll add a little more. And you're just gonna eyeball it. So you might have to add a little more. Sometimes the powder's drier than others. We're just gonna keep adding until we get the consistency that we like that nice soft cookie dough. Just mixing it around. So right now I'm actually about a 1/2 cup in. I usually just use 1 scoop. Sometimes I do more, but just keep mixing. And you can see it starts to get nice and cookie dough-like. And then if you're using a fresh lime, definitely add that lime zest. It's so good. Obviously do that before you juice it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's the easiest way to get lots of protein in my opinion. Much easier than drinking a big shake. For me, that's very difficult. So I like these options. But you give it a try and let me know what you think. So that's the key lime one. Let's make a chocolate one. Okay, so we're gonna get our chocolate complete. And again, this works with almost any brand. So we're gonna add our chocolate one in, and we'll do 2 scoops of this one too. Each one of this one has 13 grams, so it'll be 26 grams for your cookie dough. And now we need our liquid. Okay, so I'm gonna be using an unsweetened almond milk for this one. So we've got our chocolate powder in there, our unsweetened almond milk. I'm gonna go ahead and add that in, and then we're gonna get a fork and blend it. Oops. Blend it all up. And obviously you can adjust this. So if it's looking a little loose, you add a little bit more powder. And if it's looking a little dry, you add a little more liquid. But again, you're looking for that cookie dough texture. Now at this point, you could add unsweetened dried coconut, you could add crushed nuts, you could add peanut butter, you could add dried cherries, dried cranberries, anything that you would put into a cookie, you could add to this. Okay, so we're gonna need a little bit more of the chocolate powder. And of course, you're gonna take into account how much you're using because it's not a free-for-all, but for this recipe, we'll just keep adding a little bit more just so you can see what the texture looks like. And I might add a little dollop of peanut butter because I really like that combination. It makes me feel like I'm having a Reese's peanut butter cup or the equivalent. And now I might have put a little bit too much in there, but that's how it goes. So we should look like almost there. You get a little arm workout as a bonus. And now you've got this nice fudgy looking cookie dough. Don't worry, I'm sacrificing myself for y'all. Okay, so first one we did was the key lime one. You could do it with lemons if you like lemon better. Next one is the chocolate one. Again, you might add some dark chocolate chips. You could add coconut. You could add just whatever it is you like in your cookies. Let's move on to number 3, which is what we call a Wonder Whip. It is Greek yogurt and protein powder with a little bit of extra liquid, and we whip it all together. So let me gather those ingredients, I'll show you. All right, number 3, let's make our Wonder Whip. So I've got 1 packet of whey protein powder. This happens to be chocolate Shakeology. 3/4 cup to 1 cup of Greek yogurt. I am using Fage 5%. Oh, I can't see it. 5%, which I am all about the full fat. I don't like low fat stuff because they put all kinds of garbage in it to make it low fat, and I am not about that life. All right, so we're gonna add a couple splashes of our almond milk just to loosen it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna use this high-powered whisk, and we're gonna blend it all together. You can see that these come together super fast, almost faster than it is to make a protein shake. and they are so tasty. Now, if you want to be a little more decadent, you could add a little bit of heavy cream and whip it up, but this is perfect for what we need. And let me give it a little taste. Sometimes I put some fresh berries on there. Sometimes I put chopped nuts. It just depends on the day, but we'll give it a taste. It's great. It's almost like a mousse texture. It's got that light airiness to it. I just love it. So it has a little bit of tang to that. And if that bothers you and you need a little sweeter, use a little bit of raw honey for that. And that will take a little bit of that tang away. I actually really like that, so that doesn't bother me at all. So that is number 3. Let's keep working here. We're gonna make our protein cake. So let me get those ingredients. Let's make our protein cake. It is 1 ripe banana. For this one, I used a frozen banana that's been defrosted. It's great to keep those ripe bananas in the freezer and you can pull them out anytime. That way, if you want it in a shake, you can do that. Or if you wanna make this one, you just defrost it a little bit, it's good to go. We're gonna add 1 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder because I like it really chocolatey. This is Hershey Special Dark, unsweetened. And then we're gonna add 1 scoop of, we're back to our other protein powder here. Our Juice Plus protein powder. And just a little bit of that. And then we're gonna mash those 2 things together. Just break that banana up in there. If you've been with me for a while, you know I like to use overly big bowls because it saves on cleanup at the end of the day. It doesn't fly all over. We're gonna add 1 egg to that and continue mixing. You could add some vanilla if you like. I don't find it very necessary because there's a lot of flavor in all this. It doesn't have any extra calories. If you like it, it has very little to it. But basically you wanna beat that banana up into there. You don't really want it very chunky. Now what I typically do, this is gonna go in another bowl and microwave for 1.5 minutes. What I typically do is once it's warm and baked through, take it out and I add some unsweetened peanut butter to the top and just swirl it all over and let it melt in. And then I eat it when it's nice and warm. And let me tell you, that is like eating a nice lava cake with peanut buttery goodness. It's such a great way to have dessert and not feel guilty. You're getting lots and lots of good protein in there, both from the protein powder and the egg. You're getting some good carbs from the banana. So all the way around, you're in good shape with this one. Scrape off the rest of it. We don't want to leave it. So that's going to go 1.5 minutes in the microwave, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So this bad boy just came out of the oven. It's a little toasty out of the microwave. You can see it's got a little bit of wetness in the center. That's why I like it, because it's got that little molten-y flavor to it. I'm gonna add just a little bit of peanut butter. That's less than a teaspoon of peanut butter to the center there. And don't worry, I'm gonna be eating this one. All this taste testing I'm doing, I have no worries, it's just me. I'm babysitting for my 3-year-old grandson and he is sleeping. So I'm the only person that's gonna be eating all this stuff. Not all at once, obviously, but I'm the taste tester, I'm the eater, that's me. So nothing to worry about. Let's move that aside. So let's move on to our protein cookie. Now, I love cookies because they're easily transportable. Is that the word, right? Transportable? I think so. All right, so what we're gonna need is 2/3 cup of peanut butter. And you might be saying, I don't eat all this peanut butter. Pick the ones that are good for you, it's no problem. So we need a 2/3 cup of peanut butter. Now, normally I would use, oh, there's a plastic wrap right there. Get you a little slice of plastic wrap. I know we have jumbo. Both my daughter and I have jumbo plastic wrap because I bought that for her. Because I'm spoiled and I need to have my big plastic wrap. Okay, 2/3 cup of peanut butter. Creamy or chunky. I personally like chunky, but she has creamy, so that's what we're going with. So when you line it like this, all you need to do is take it out, stretch it, and just pop it, and then you throw that out and cleanup is less. Okay, we need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. All right, we have our 2/3 cup of peanut butter in here. I added 1/2 cup of coconut brown sugar. You could use regular brown sugar if you like. Coconut's just a little more digestible. And then I added 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So that's what's in the bowl currently. I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of vanilla protein powder and 1/2 cup of dark chocolate chips. You want to have a little bit of sweetness to them, but not a whole lot. And then we're gonna add 2 eggs. Add those over here. Whoopsies, that did not work so well. Hang on a second. Let me clean that up. That was fun. Okay, so the egg broke all over the counter, which is always a great thing. Apparently it had a small crack in it and I didn't realize it. So when I hit it, it whooshed. It happens, it's real life. I could have edited it out, but I decided to keep it in because it's funny. And those things happen. So I sanitized the counter, I sanitized the floor where it fell, and we move on. Okay, so we're gonna just go ahead and combine all these up. Notice I did not whip the eggs with the sugar or anything like that. We're just doing this nice and quick. Making ourselves some cookie dough. There's no flour, it's all with the protein powder. Just want to get everything incorporated. It should take you probably less than a minute. Mixing time. Get all that stuff off the sides. And what you should be left with should look like regular cookie dough. And then we're going to take a sheet pan. I've got my oven preheated at 350 degrees. We're going to make little balls of these and cook them for 10 minutes, and I'll show you what they look like after we bake them. Here is our cookies right out of the oven, looking fabulous. One thing about these cookies is that whatever shape you put them in at, that's the end shape you're gonna get. So they don't have much spread, but they do continue to harden a little bit once they come out of the oven. So they'll be nice and soft when they come out, and then they'll continue to harden up as they cool down. Hello, my lovelies, I am back, and I wanna show you. You'll see I'm back in my own kitchen now. We're gonna make some protein ice cream. Now, here's the thing, I'm not a huge fan of ice cream. I know that's weird, but I've never really loved ice cream unless it's melty. So what I like about this one is to eat it right away. Most people put it in the freezer and then eat it when it's hard, but that's not me. You choose how you like it, but it's delicious. Okay, so we're gonna start with about 1/8 of a cup of peanut butter. I'm using a crunchy peanut butter for this one. I like a little bit of crunch, so we're gonna add frozen bananas. I have 2 frozen bananas that I peeled before freezing. It makes life a lot easier. If you freeze them in the peel, you have a lot more work to do. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. This again is the unsweetened Hershey Special Dark. And then we're going to add 1 packet or 1 scoop of protein powder. Get my handy dandy kitchen scissors here. There we go. And then pour it on the counter by accident, because that's what happens sometimes. Okay, crisis averted. I picked up all the leftover powder. It went everywhere. Okay, so now we're just gonna pulse this. So first we're gonna break up that banana. And then we're gonna really let it go. It starts to turn a nice little paste. I'm going to add just a touch of almond milk to get that really moving together. Just going to add a little bit of almond milk right through the spout here. Maybe not, because I didn't open it. Good gracious, having trouble today. Okay. Right there. There we go. That's all we needed. Just a little splash. And we'll close it back up again. So the hardest part about this is getting it blended. Once you're done, that's it. That's all you have to do. So we're just gonna take our little spoon and move it around a little bit. Should be nice and icy. And we'll come back in. You can see the texture right now. It's ice cream-like. I'll taste test it for you. It's really quite sweet. And then we just scoop it out. And the thing I like about this blender is its center comes out. I do have a Vitamix, and I love it, but it's really hard to get stuff out of it. So right now, there is our ice cream. I'm gonna get a bowl and I'll show you what it looks like. Okie dokie, my friends, here we go. This is our chocolate ice cream. I'm a visual eater, so I like to have it in something that looks pretty. There's some leftovers here because it makes 2 servings, but I use my good old ice cream scoop, scooped it out and put it in here. You can top it with whatever you like or just eat it plain. It's nice and it has a nice soft serve texture right now. You get that hint of banana, but that really good chocolate punch to it. So give it a try. It's well worth it. And if you don't like to put it together, you could always go for a halo top, which is a protein ice cream. I'm a fan of that as well. Okay, so we're gonna keep on moving on for our very last one. Now you may notice that we've only done 6 right now. The 7th one is a protein ball, which I actually did a whole podcast on. You can come back and take a look at these. But this is something I keep in my refrigerator at all times for those on-the-go snacks, or when I need a little punch of protein and I don't want to have to make them all the time. So I make them once a week. It makes a lot, and it's 2 dozen of them, and then we can grab and go as we go through the week. My family loves these, so I make a lot of them. The last thing we're going to make then is our protein brownies. So let me grab the ingredients and we'll do it. Last but not least, we're going to make our protein brownies. Okay, so in this bowl, I have 1 cup of bananas and 1/3 cup of almond butter. I'm using Justin's almond butter today. And then I have a 1/3 cup of cocoa powder, again, our unsweetened cocoa powder. And then I am going to add to that 1 packet of protein powder, and hopefully I won't spray it all around this time. I'm gonna add that in. And a teaspoon of vanilla. Add that in. And 1 tablespoon of raw honey. It's gonna help us glue it all together. Now, if your almond butter is unsweetened, then you're gonna add a 1/4 cup of honey instead of 1 tablespoon. This Justin's has a little bit of honey already in it, so we're just adding a little bit more for the glue. Okay, and now we're going to do our old-fashioned hand blender and just blend it all up. Now, you know that powder is going to make it a little bit messy, so just keep it in one place for a second until those bananas get all nice and mashy. And then you can start taking it down. So I'll continue blending this until it's smooth, and then we'll put it in our pan and I'll show you. Our batter is nice and smooth now, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in this brownie pan. Now, these are individual brownie cups, so I like that because then the edges get nice and crunchy. And I happen to like that. If you don't, you can do it in a regular brownie pan. I'm just gonna go ahead and add these in here with my handy dandy scoop. And the other thing that's nice about this is in the portion control. You're not gonna eat the whole thing by accident. Get this one more out of there. Let's see here, I'll scrape that out. And we want to get all that goodness out of there, so we're going to scrape and scrape. We want these fairly evenly filled, so that's why I use my scoop. But this last one's going to be a little bit lighter, so I'm going to steal a little bit of this one and move it over to this one. As long as your hands are super clean, they're your best tool. Okay, so we're gonna tap this out, make sure our batter's even, and then into 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes. We'll check them and just see how they're doing. So here is the final one, our very fudgy brownies. They are so good and have that protein pack, so you can feel great about eating them with no guilt. The thing is, that we have to have a balance in our life. We have to have a good amount of protein, but we also want to have those pleasurable foods too. So this is a way to combine both things, and I think that's really important. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope that you will leave a comment, leave a review, leave 5 stars. However you wish to rate this podcast, I certainly appreciate it. That certainly helps me get the word out, and then I can share my love of nutrition and food and help anyone that might need it. I wish you lots of love. I am continuing to pray for you. I hope during this coming Holy Week that you feel especially close to the Lord and recognize how blessed we are to have Jesus come into the world and save us. And I am here to tell you that that has made a huge difference in my life. I continue this journey of faith and always keep moving forward. I am not the best biblically, but I keep working on it, keep reading my scripture, and get a better understanding. So anyway, my friends, This is my mission, is to help others feel confident in their eating, and I feel called by God to do that. So I hope it's been helpful. I love you all. I pray for you all. Have a great week.